We go about doing so much in our daily routines, yet we compromise greatly on our diets. We aim to achieve so much, but do we really aim to achieve our best health through the diet that we eat? Let's go back to the basics for some time and focus on the age-old saying of eating a balanced diet. What constitutes a balanced diet? Simple. An equal, balanced, and recommended amount of macro as well as micronutrients needed by our body along with plenty of water. If I talk about macronutrients, they are the ones which are needed in larger amounts by the body, whereas micronutrients are the opposite. All these nutrients play their very own important role in the body. Today, we will be focusing on carbohydrates, a type of macronutrient that is an essential part of our diet. Welcome. You're listening to TALRadio, powered by Touch Your Life Foundation, and this is Foodology. I'm radio host Devansh, and on this show, I talk about the enormous world of a little word called food. Carbohydrates are one of the three main macronutrients that our body needs to function, alongside protein and fats. But before we dive in, let's define what carbohydrates are. If I put it simply, carbohydrates are molecules which are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. They are found in a wide variety of foods, including grains, fruits, vegetables, legumes, and dairy products. They are an important source of energy for our bodies, because when we eat food that contains carbohydrates, our body uses it as fuel. Now, taking a step further, there are two main types of carbohydrates, simple and complex. Simple carbohydrates, which are also known as simple sugars, are found in foods like white bread, pasta, and processed snacks. They are quickly absorbed by the body and they provide a quick burst of energy. Complex carbohydrates, on the other hand, are found in foods like whole grains, beans, and vegetables. They are broken down more slowly by the body and they provide a sustained source of energy. However, it is important to note that not all carbohydrates are created equal, and it's more important to choose complex carbohydrates over simple because they provide more nutrition and fiber. Additionally, it's also very important to pay attention to the portion sizes because consuming too many carbs can lead to health problems. You should have a balance of both types of carbs in your diet. Simple ones can be a quick source of energy, and complex one for sustained energy. Alright, but did you ever wonder where have these carbohydrates and this term come from? And how have they been used throughout history? Carbs have been a part of human diet for millennia. In ancient civilizations, carbohydrates were primarily obtained from grains such as wheat, barley, and maize. These grains were further ground into flour and they were used to make bread, pasta, and other staples of the diet. And as civilizations developed and agriculture became more advanced, other sources of carbohydrates were introduced. Fruits, veggies, legumes, they all became very important sources of carbohydrates in the diet. Throughout history, carbohydrates have played a central role in human culture as well as cuisine. Take for example, in Europe, bread was a staple food and a symbol of wealth and status. In ancient Rome, the wealthy ate elaborate feasts, including pastries and other baked goods made from flour, all centered around carbohydrates. In the recent times, the Industrial Revolution brought about major changes in the way carbs were produced and consumed. How? Well, the invention of the roller mill in the 19th century made it possible to produce white flour, which was considered to be a more refined and desirable product than the whole grain flour. All of this led to an increase in the consumption of refined carbohydrates, such as white bread and pasta. I'm sure you all definitely know or would have heard of the term glucose. And it's a word very frequently used in the healthcare field as well as our daily lives. Do carbohydrates have anything to do with it? 100%. The main source of energy for the body is glucose. Glucose is a type of sugar that is found in carbs. It is the primary energy source for the brain and muscles, and it is also used by the body for other functions such as digestion and metabolism. The body gets glucose from the food we eat, particularly carbohydrates. When we eat these foods, the body breaks them down into glucose, which is absorbed into the bloodstream and used as fuel by the body's cells. This makes it very important to maintain a healthy balance of glucose in the body, because too much or too little can have negative impacts on your health. For example, having high glucose levels in the blood, known as hyperglycemia, can be a sign of diabetes. Or, on the other hand, low glucose levels, known as hypoglycemia, can cause fatigue and weakness. Due to this relationship of energy, glucose, carbohydrates, and certain diseases, there have been a lot of misconceptions about carbohydrates. They've gotten a bad rep in the recent years, with many people blaming them for weight gain and other health problems. But are all these claims about carbohydrates really true? A lot of people say that carbohydrates are bad for you. This is perhaps one of the most widespread myths about carbs. Many people believe that they are unhealthy and should be avoided at all costs. Let me tell you, this is simply not true. In fact, carbohydrates are an essential part of a healthy diet and are necessary for proper body functions. They provide body with energy, they support brain function, and are a source of fiber and other important nutrients. Another common misconception is that all carbohydrates are the same, but this couldn't be far from the truth. There are two main types of carbs, simple and complex, like I've talked about. Simple ones are known as empty carbs and are found in sugary foods like candy, soda, and baked goods. They are quickly absorbed by the body and can cause a rapid spike in blood sugar. Complex carbs, on the other hand, are slower to digest and can help to regulate blood sugar levels. Another misconception is that low-carb diets are the best way to lose weight. While it is partially true that low-carb diet can lead to weight loss in the short term, but they are not the best option for long-term weight management. Low-carb diets often involve cutting out entire food groups, which can lead to nutrient deficiencies. They can also be difficult to stick to over long term, which can make weight loss difficult to maintain. Instead of focusing on low-carb diets, it's very important to focus on a healthy, balanced diet that includes a variety of nutritious foods. Then you'll find some people saying that carbohydrates can cause diabetes. This is not true. In fact, carbohydrates are an important part of a diabetes management plan. People with diabetes need to carefully balance their intake of carbs with their medication and other factors to help control blood sugar levels. In this case, it's very important to work with a healthcare professional to determine the right amount of carbs for your individual needs. All of these misconceptions have given birth to fad diets over the recent years, which try to omit carbs in one or another way, either a little or completely. All of these diets have gained immense popularity over the years as a way to lose weight and improve overall health. Well, there are pros and cons to each of these carbohydrate diets, and it's important to speak with a professional before starting any new diet on an exercise program. Here are some of the most popular carbohydrate diets. Here we go. The first one on my list is the low-carb diet. This diet focuses on reducing the intake of carbohydrates and increasing the intake of protein and fat. It is believed that by limiting the intake of carbs, the body will enter into a state of ketosis, burning fat for energy instead of glucose. Next is the paleo diet. The paleo diet is based on the idea that humans should eat the same food that our ancestors ate during the Paleolithic era. This means that the paleo diet is high in protein and fats and low in processed carbs. This paleo diet is based on the belief that modern grains and legumes are responsible for many health problems faced by humans today, and that by avoiding these foods, we can improve our health. The next diet on my list is the Atkins diet. The Atkins diet is a low-carb diet that was developed by Dr. Robert Atkins in the 1970s. This diet is based on the idea that carbs are the main cause of weight gain, and that by limiting their intake, we can lose weight and improve our health. The South Beach diet. The South Beach diet is a low-carb diet that was developed by Dr. Arthur Agatston in the 1990s. This diet is based on the idea that all carbs are not created equal, and that by choosing the right ones, we can lose weight and improve our health. The keto diet. The keto diet, one of the most popular diets, is a very low-carb, high-fat diet that is designed to put the body into a state of ketosis, just like the low-carb diet. This is based on the idea that by consuming very few carbs and a lot of fat, the body will burn fat for energy instead of glucose. The keto diet has been shown to be effective for weight loss and has been linked to numerous health benefits, including improved blood sugar and reduced risk of heart diseases. No matter what diet you follow, it's paramount to do it under the guidance of a medical professional. And since this episode is dedicated to carbs, let's take a look at some of the top foods that are rich in carbs. And if you're looking to incorporate more healthy carbs in your diet, this can help. Grains. Grains are an excellent source of carbs, with bread, pasta, rice, oats being some of the most commonly consumed ones. Whole grains such as whole wheat bread and brown rice are considered complex carbohydrates and are a good source of fiber, which can help to keep you feeling full and satisfied. Fruits are another great source of carbs, with many types containing simple sugars such as fructose and glucose. Some of the best sources of carbs in fruits are bananas, apples, and oranges. Vegetables. While they are often thought of as a source of protein and fiber, many veggies are a good source of carb. Examples include potatoes, sweet potatoes, and corn. Dairy products are another great source of carbs. Milk, yogurt, cheese. All of these contain simple sugars, and cheese contains complex carbs, which are great for your overall health. Another food group that is high in carbs is legumes. This includes beans, lentils, and peas. Legumes are a great source of complex carbs and are also high in protein, making them a popular choice for vegetarians and vegans. They are also a good source of fiber, which can help with digestion and weight management. Root vegetables such as potatoes, turnips are high in carbs and are a good source of vitamins and minerals. They can be cooked in a variety of ways, and they make a great addition to any meal. Today, carbohydrates continue to be an important part of the human diet. They provide energy, fiber, and a range of essential nutrients. They give the body all that it needs and also helps to maintain proper bowel function and nutrition absorption. But the takeaway is that you gotta prioritize complex carbohydrates and whole grains to get most of these nutritional benefits. There has been some debate in the recent years about the role of carbs in health and nutrition. Some experts argue that a diet high in refined carbs may contribute to health problems such as obesity and diabetes, while others emphasize the importance of including a variety of carbs in your diet. Regardless of the debate, carbohydrates remain a vital part of human nutrition and will continue to be a central part of our diet for the foreseeable future. Carbohydrates are not the enemy that they are made out to be. They are an essential part of a healthy diet and should not be avoided. By understanding the truth about carbs, we can make informed choices about what we eat and support our overall health and well-being. Thank you so much for tuning in with me on this episode of Foodology. I had an incredible time talking to you. This is radio host Devansh signing off. Hope you have a beautiful and a magical day ahead. See you soon.